I'm going to jump in here in a minute and just have a quick catch up on what's going on, bits and pieces, go through some bits that I'm working on, what I've got coming up, and talk about a couple of bits that's been going on news-wise as well. And then we'll get into your images, go through some of those, see some shots that you guys have shared. If you are new here, let's have a look. Yeah, so if you're new, what we're going to do is we're going to go through your shots, and I ask every Monday for you guys to share some images. So you can scroll back to last night's post here, share a shoot, just on my page here, and then just pop the images in the comments. And we've actually got tons of incredible shots to go through. Actually, in fact, should be pretty quick. I mean, these are all so good. There's no CC needed really. It'd just be us checking them out and moving on. I think it'd be a quick one. But yeah, just share your images in there, post them in the comments, and then we'll go through them. Look, I know the quality is obviously extremely high here, but that's not by design. That's we welcome all skill levels, and as long as you're not shooting black and white, really, anybody's welcome to share an image. So yeah, pop it in there, and then we'll go through it in a bit. But hey Chris, how you doing, man? How you doing? Norm, how you doing? From Belfast. Let's have a look. Are you new here, Norm? Forgive me if you're a regular. Yeah. Jake's on a promise. Needs to be away sharp. Well, I need to go, or you need to go. Let's have a look. Let's see what we got. So you've shared one, Dave. Yours was here at the bottom, right? Let's have a look. Yours is here at the bottom. Yeah. Nice. Chris, I think you stuck in a couple there. Appreciate it. Nice. Yeah. Norm, have you shared an image? By all means, scroll back to last night's post here, this image, which will just be the one previous to the stream you're watching now, and chuck an image in the chat there. Also, hi to my YouTube fam who are watching the VoD, or will be watching the VoD of us talking in the past, but they'll be doing that in the future. So yeah, welcome to you guys. If you do want to check out the live stream, then you are going to have to wade through the drama that is Meta. But yeah, every couple of weeks you can catch the live stream. So anybody watching the VOD on YouTube, definitely try and catch us live. Have a chat, see what you're up to, share some images. No, you said it'll be quick as the shots are good tonight. Yeah, that's true, mate. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I want to get my excuses in quick. Yeah. That steak sandwich ain't gonna reheat itself, Dave. Come on. Well, we got a good mix. We got Vlad. That's just, I mean, we'll go through these in a minute, but I mean that looks just absolutely incredible. Leaning into those colors. I know a couple of streams ago, we were all fell in love with one of his images that he shared with the yellows and oranges and greens and that sort of stuff. So he's really doubled down on that with this one. Shared that image. Rusty just got a nice classic clean single light shot there. Love it. Got some I don't know, what's this, lifestyle reportage. This is really cool actually. Fill in flash, nailed that balance there, Andrew. Fill in flash again. We will go through these properly. We got some still life sort of miniature stuff here with the models. Loving it. Dave, is Dave in here? Dave said David said he was going to tune in. He's doing his faux natural light that he's working through at the moment, which is absolutely nailing, by the way. Hey David, how you doing, buddy? Glad you could make it. Yeah. So a lot of David's work recently, well, for a little while now, has been sort of recreating natural light around the home, and doing a great job of it. Yeah, great job of it. Yeah, unless this is natural light, but no, it's an optical snoot. Yeah, cool. Mark got some color gels in there. Chris again, color gels. Paul, loving this, Paul. This is looking beautiful. Yeah, I'll go through those in a minute. John. John is John. I just did a podcast with John a couple of weeks ago, actually, and I don't know. Is this shot on film, John? So John is designs jewelry by trade, and then shoots some studio stuff. Predominantly coming out of the fact that he needed images for his jewelry and that sort of stuff, and he's just been playing around with creative lighting with that. But he does tend to, I know previously when he's submitted images that have been on film, Chris, second one in there, Anubhav just absolutely slaying here with his shots. Gorgeous image. And then Dave here, a bit of a mix of natural light and strobes in there. So yeah, we've got a bunch, man. Yeah, we've got a bunch. Good mix. So yeah, we got anybody all good. Is that a bike lid on the shelf behind you, Jake? You're right. That is yes, on the top it is. Yeah, that is from another life. Yeah. I used to we used to hang out with a biker guy, and yeah, that is a different life. In fact, all that stuff up there on that shelf is from different lives. Skateboards. I used to be a very avid skateboarder for many years. Got mountain climbing equipment again. Another era of my life. But yeah, I know it's pretty cliche to have all that crap back there, but it is not just stuff that I just found this in a thrift store. Let's just throw it up there. Yeah, no, it is all mine and relevant. There's also some camera stuff up there as well, but yeah. Speaking of doing stuff, I'm a very keen gamer. I'll be honest. I play way too many games. I'm playing Remnant 2 at the moment. God damn, that is an incredible game. If anybody is playing that, or is thinking about it, it's nuts. Yeah, so good. Yeah, definitely worth getting. Just started playing that, and Dave says miss having two-wheeled sons. Just started riding. Know how my mother felt now. Oh wow, how old's your son then, Dave? Yeah, if he's learning to. Do you know what? I don't know how I don't know how so many of us make it to old age. I really don't. Got my driving license at 17, 18, something like that. It's just, I don't know how we're allowed to give young people driving licenses, but yeah, it is a miracle that so many of us make it. I mean, obviously, I'm sure your son is absolutely fine. Absolutely nothing to worry about. I'm sure he's very responsible. I'm sure you raised him well. Absolutely no concerns. I'm sure he's using his indicators, all that sort of stuff. Nothing to worry about. He's 25. Got his first big bike a couple of weeks ago. When you say big bike, what sort of power are we talking about? Talking about Hayabusa, that sort of thing, or we got a little ninja. I'm sure he'd be fine. Love it. Right, let's see. So let's get cracking then. So like I said, I didn't really have like a hard and fast topic that I wanted to rant about tonight or anything like that, but just like I said, follow up on what's been going on, and just have a little bit of a chat about a little bit of an update on the AI stuff. KTM Super Duke. Oh, KTM, nice. I hope he knows how to fix it, because KTM. So yeah, last week I shared some AI work from somebody, and this is on Thursday. Share a shoot, do it every week. But I shared this, I presume, guy, girl, whatever. Lok Hong works here, and my kind of sentiment here was that I don't know what it was. I saw one of their images or in the feed, and like something like this. It's like kind of a bit long exposure and like light trails and that sort of stuff. I was like, oh, wow, that is so cool, man. Wow, gorgeous. Look at the coloring, amazing. And then clicked into it. It was like recommended or something like that. So I clicked into it, and then found out that all this work was AI. And from my point of view, I was definitely gutted, as soon as I found out. I was like, well, why am I gutted? Surely, art is art. Does it really matter? And look, it kind of followed on to, how clear should it be that some of this stuff is AI? Because we get into a state now where the quality of AI is borderline impossible to tell. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of us more experienced. As soon as you blow up some of these big, you can immediately go, okay, yeah, AI. Come on, Jake, it's obvious. Fair. But you got to remember that 99% of the population are not photographers, and they aren't going to know. Like some of this stuff, which is really interesting to see how organic the prompts have been given to get to this point, right? So, and I think this is the work there, right? And look, don't get me wrong. Like when we zoom in, I mean, okay, yeah, obviously that's AI, right? But some of these we got refractions and like the bokeh, the individual hairs and all this sort of stuff. And this is as far as they take it there in terms of AI art and that sort of thing. And they have a couple of hashtags and that sort of thing in there. And then for the most part, they then go on to just use like photography hashtags like 35mm, street photography, street life, just the usual Vogue just the usual photography hashtags and that sort of stuff. So you're like, okay. And then, so what do we got here? So they class themselves up here as a photographer, right? And they got hashtag Nikon, hashtag AI art. So this is where I'm kind of a little bit hazy. At what point do we go, well, you're not a photographer, right? Really, let's be honest, like you're not. I mean, what, I make dinner of an evening, so I'm a chef. I mean, at least I'm actually using some of the tools involved. Like, how far do we take it here? But we're not even capturing light through a box with a hole in it anymore. Like we are just literally typing words into it, right? Into a program. And look, everybody here is. Oh my God, this is we used to take the piss out of this. So you always got people who everybody thinks is real, and that's fine. People are just looking at art and enjoying it and that sort of stuff. This is the first time I've seen this comment. We used to take the piss back at art college when somebody said black and white looks more real than color. It's the weirdest thing. Sorry, I just find that funny. But yeah, so look, I mean, for the most part, most people aren't being able to tell, right? And my sentiment here in my post was, should we have to say that it's AI art, or should the word photography even be in there? Like we need to have some sort of stipulation as to at what point do we go, look, that's just not photography anymore. You are typing words into a search engine, or not searching, but like a prompt box, whatever. So Dave says some of the fashion stuff that's being done in AI is disappointing in how good it looks, but can never be made. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Dave. I mean, look, I'm not here to poo-poo people using it. Absolutely use it. I'm not here to say that it'll never be as good as photography. It's pretty much there now in terms of 99% of regular people can't tell that it's not a photograph. And we've been down this road before. I just at what point do we go, look, you are not a photographer, all right? Enough is enough. Now the other kind of thing that I find a little bit frustrating with this kind of sort of phenomenon that we're going through now with AI art is volume, right? And just the amount of imagery that can be put out there. And what I mean by that is, like, the algorithm, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all these all these algorithm fed social networks just love content, right? Content, quantity, right? If you can somehow upload a video every single day on YouTube, I mean, that, like, it doesn't matter how bad it is, really, obviously within reason, but it's far better than, especially if you're trying to start out in today's market. Really, it's more chance of you seeing success than just releasing one video a week, right? Regardless of how good that one video a week is. Content. So, like this guy, for example, pre-AI, and to be fair, look, I am not shitting on this guy, girl, whatever, like, incredible work. I'm not. I'm just using him or her as an example. Absolutely, there are loads and loads of people like this. This is not just him. He's not trying to trick anybody. He does say AI in all these images. Fair. So I'm not shitting on this guy. But back to my point about volume and quantity and that sort of stuff. It is if we keep going back down to his actual photographs here, and you can see that if we keep going, all of this is still AI. As far as I'm aware, something like that might be real. There you go. So that's a real one. Is it bad that you can tell immediately if it's real? Yeah. But I mean, this stuff, right? So yeah, let me just keep going back here a second. If we can load up his original stuff. My point being that originally when he was shooting, he like maybe in 10 weeks, I think he uploaded, I don't know, 24, 30 images, something like that in 10 weeks when he was uploading actual photographs. Now in the last 10 weeks of AI stuff, he's uploaded 90 or 100 images and that sort of thing. Okay, so 3 or 4 times the amount. All right, but this is not isolated to this. Like, the amount of people who are, so it's pretty easy to see where the AI starts compared to the real life stuff. And again, look, I'm not shitting on this guy. Absolutely fine. If it brings you joy to create AI, carry on and do it. Absolutely. I'm just sadly using your work as an example of a point. And that is the volume, right? The sheer volume of images that are being uploaded is really choking the system to a certain extent, and it's kind of difficult to be, for the real images to shine through on that. Jake, come on, it's a sign of the times, it's changing times. I get it. I'm just highlighting the fact that it's very, very difficult to compete with the sheer volume of AI work being uploaded daily. Like, there's some people doing 3 or 4 AI images a day. There's just no way, if you're uploading and look, if you're just out walking around town grabbing some shots, yeah, you could upload 3 or 4 images a day. That's cool. Like, this sort of stuff, you could upload that. Like, you are not uploading 3 or 4 images a day of this kind of content, right? Eye-catching, engaging, quality content. You're not. So, like the sheer volume of AI work just hitting the market at the moment is just huge. Now, it raises the bar considerably for other photographic work and that sort of thing, especially at the moment with regards to copyright. Like, anybody can come along and I could kind of reshare this image. I wouldn't be breaking any laws. He doesn't own this, so it's kind of a tricky one with regards to copyright. So the quality of the work is outstanding. At the moment, companies are being a little bit hesitant because they can't quite justify using an image like this because they don't own it. But I think it's becoming less of an issue because you just create images and then you'll have a new advert next week, right? So what? Like, you see everybody on Instagram sharing images at the moment, and they're going, if you want me to take it down, let me know. Like, it's the constant ask for forgiveness, not permission, right? I mean, that's the very definition of it. Yeah, I'll just post it. If you want me to take it down, I'll take it down. But if it's been up for 6 hours, 12 hours, it's had its life cycle, it doesn't matter, right? I'm sure I'll take it down after 12 hours. It's dead anyway, right? So it's definitely this fast turnover of images that's very, very difficult to compete with. And look, we had for the most part, if you are interested in this, there's a lot of great conversations to be had in there. There was some idiots, name calling and that sort of shit, but apart from those morons, there was a lot of sensible conversation to be had in there, mainly saying that look, it's not photography, it shouldn't be called as such. Now, does that really change anything, right? Does an art director or a client care? No, they don't really care if it's a photograph or AI, really. Or I don't think we're going to get to a point where it's just going to become so normal. It's not an issue. And look, some of the arguments or comments on this post was everybody grumbled at autofocus and white balance and all that sort of stuff, right? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, everybody did. Back in the day when autofocus came out, it's like, oh, it's taken away the skill, taken away the craft. Anybody can. It just means anybody can take a decent image now. Auto exposure and that sort of stuff. Anybody can take it. It's just taking away the skill, taking away the craft. And yeah, right, absolutely, it is. The difference was that it was still a photograph, right? This is fundamentally shifting it. I mean, this is apples to oranges. Really, this is not a photograph. So it's not like you're using a camera to generate this AI stuff. It is a completely separate tool. You don't even leave the house. You don't even pick up a camera. You could go, well, Jake, you need a good understanding of photography to get these results. Okay, what 35mm 90s analog look, cinematic teal and orange, 2.8 depth of field shot on a Zenit. Like, what are we talking about here? Stuff that we could, prompts that we could learn within a few hours. So yeah, a little bit sus. Yeah. Dave says it's an argument that never go away. Is it a composite? Is it AI? The camera doing too much adjustment in the camera? There are Puritans that would keep us all shooting box brownie, and the people that just like a good image, regardless of how it came about. In the middle, there's a whole range of arguments. I mean, Dave, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, 100% agree. There's always going to be like the purists out there, like we've just said, right? Everybody hated autofocus, or when color film came out. When color film came out, it was it's like, how on earth, you absolute heathens, black and white is so pure, it's the true photography. It's been like that for ages. You can't use color film. It's just absolutely disgusting. Like, it's just not artistic. And was it William Eggleston, just arguably one of the most famous photographers of all time, absolutely shunned at the time for trying out color film, right? And his stuff was, he was playing with it and trying it, but he was shunned, right? He was absolutely shunned. And yeah, Dave, you're right. They're always going to be pushback against something that's different. I mean, even on a very basic scale, me and my work, 10 years ago when I was using color gel, I was like, why would you turn that girl bright blue? You're insane. Like, you've ruined it. What on earth are you doing? Like, it's just, that's ridiculous. So yeah, there are always going to be Puritans with whatever we do. I just think this has got to a point now where it's like, please don't call yourself a photographer. It's just insulting, right? And you can go, oh, Jay, you just picking hair, splitting hairs. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, and that's fine. But it still surprises me as to how many people are, and I guess. I guess these are pretty throwaway comments, but I suppose my point was good. Like, everybody thinks this is real, right? Everybody thinks this is real. So I don't know if you guys have got, children and that sort of stuff, maybe, daughters in, like yourselves and that sort of thing. When I was doing photography, Photoshop, 10, 15 years ago, there was a huge pushback against Photoshop, right? And photoshopping images and retouching skin and that sort of stuff. I mean, it was really, I think we've kind of forgotten how crazy it was back then. I mean, you got to remember, we're coming out of the 90s, heroin-chic out of the 90s, like Kate Moss, that sort of thing, right? So we're just coming out of that. Photoshop was really starting to kick off. People were able to actually start to use Photoshop on their own systems and and that sort of thing. And we were bad. Like we were bad at it, right? We were, oh yeah, lens flares. Right, that's just it's definitely one of those things. It's just, oh, I put lens flare on that looked really cool. Skin smoothing, that sort of stuff, and then Liquify came along and it was just, oh my god, that sort of stuff. Now fast forward a few more years, and I don't know whether this is still the case, I'm sure it is, but in France legally you have to say if an image has been digitally enhanced or whatever it is, so it has to have a disclaimer on there to say that it's digitally enhanced. And at the time, this was years ago, everybody was just like, that's ridiculous. Of course, every image, like, what are we saying here? Like, if it's converted from a RAW to a JPEG, that counts, because that has a preset on it or whatever. That's adjusting how it's looking. Like, what are we? It's very difficult to draw the line on it. I mean, years ago when I would share an image, an article or something like that, there'd be images in the article and people in the comments are like, we need to see the RAWs of these. This is unacceptable to share the retouched versions of this. And it's like, I know it sounds crazy now. I know it sounds, but like back then it was like the Photoshop thing was just like, if you're using Photoshop, it's just disgusting. Like, you can't even call yourself a real photographer if you have to use Photoshop. And that's what we're going through now. We're doing the same things, right? So look, I'm not saying that it's unheard of or anything like that, but we have to remember that we've kind of been here several times before. Like Dave says in chat there, digital will never last. Yeah, you're right. Like, the turn of the century, whatever it was, and digital kicking off. It was the same then. People going, digital, it's ridiculous. Yeah, like, it's nowhere near the same quality. It's just, never catch on. So I get it, right? So I get it. But this is kind of, I feel like this is kind of different, right? Because we, coming out of the 90s, like I said, you had the heroin-chic, but you also had like the death of supermodels and that sort of thing. You had the, kind of a ban on no size zero models and all that sort of stuff, because we were so afraid of, and rightfully so, I might add, of the, like the kind of mental impact that has on young women. Now, I don't have children, I don't have a daughter or anything like that, but I can absolutely see their point of view. Now, we've just said that a lot of these images, nobody knows that they're AI, right? Right, and this is fine. Okay, it's just a girl on the street, fine, whatever. But we are getting to a point now where you have what we call these digital influencers. Okay, so like this person isn't real. Okay, this is a whatever it is, 250,000 followers, whatever it is. And I didn't actually realize, but it actually says the world's first digital supermodel. So like we have this. This is crazy to me, by the way. So we have this person here with just completely synthetic. So I was just reading some of this. Obviously, everybody in there. So you got somebody here even going, I can't believe this is AI. So you got people going, oh my god, I can't believe this isn't a photograph, and you got other people saying, it's just crazy, yeah. So you got digital influencers like this, and like you got to think about it from the brand's point of view and that sort of thing. Like these people start working with brands, $1 million deals that they make with some of these brands. Like digital models don't have an opinion, right? They're not going to be. They're not going to be pushing an agenda or political perspective that goes against what the brand thinks and feels, right? So yeah, I mean, well, shit, we don't have to go back too far before it gets real sketch, right? Wow. come a long way. Okay. So obviously that was a supermodel, so you kind of expect that, kind of if you're looking at a supermodel, digital or otherwise, you kind of certainly expect a level of fashion or editorial look to it, and then we have Emma here or whatever, another famous digital influencer, but again purely synthetic, right? And they're kind of living out this synthetic world, if you will, which is kind of bizarre, and sharing her life and that sort of thing with people. Now again, it's fine if you know that it's AI, it's fine, and some of these are better than others, but again, it's like the volume of it as well, right? So and to be fair to her, I think she says here, new project loading, I'm a virtual girl, right? So I presume what the hashtags are going to be, virtual human. Okay, yeah, but like she's saying something at least. So here we have another one, 2.7 million followers, by the way, on this one, however you sell that, little Michaela, whatever it is. So the closest thing that we get to knowing that she's not real is 19-year-old robot living in LA, right? But again, sharing this, she's not real. So again, she's not openly publicizing that she's AI or virtual and that sort of thing. Okay. What's kind of weird about this is that when they don't do this, like when they do kind of keep it a little bit hidden, sometimes you see a lot more comments going, this is wrong, you shouldn't be do this, but yeah, it's nuts, like all these comments interacting with this person, and it's like it's fairly innocuous and that sort of thing. It's just a girl acting like a girl doing girly things, nothing too crazy. Of course, then we come onto like this new sort of phenomenon of these very AI young ladies being created, right? And this is more obviously AI here, right? You're like, okay, yeah, pretty obvious. But again, like loads of people in the comments, no clue, just thinking that she's real or whatever, right? But again, we've got some hashtags and stuff in here, that sort of thing. So we got a lot of this sort of thing happening. We're seeing a huge rise of these, fake AI girls being made, accounts being made, and I'm sure there is some link somewhere to make some money somewhere. Like I said, some of them are better than others, right? Again, this is a AI girl here, and I'm not seeing anything there saying that it's AI, right? So look, we've just gone through this era of trying to protect young women, rightfully so, in my opinion, from photographers and Photoshop and skin smoothing and fake boobs and all that sort of stuff. And then we now get into this, which is just gonna explode now, where like we have these girls who are like right down the middle of not trying to be a fashion model, trying to be your girl next door, but obviously looking perfect. And let's not forget, some of these girls have been 19 for the last 4 years, right? So 5 years. I think one of these girls has been 19 since 2019. So it's like these girls aren't aging, right? So like we've got this is just being there's tons of these. There's tons of these. It's got nearly 100k. Another one here. So there's please photo removal upon request. Do you know what I mean? So that like, they're doing all the things to make it look legit, right? Yeah, if this is your photograph, I'll remove it. Like, no, it's AI. You've just made it, you bastards. Like, but and there's just scores and scores of these. Yeah, right. How many has this one got? Another 250,000. Yeah, virtual influencer. Let's have a look. it's just so creepy as well. Not only does such and such eat well, but it turns out she tans much better than me. It's just so creepy, right? It's just like, it's not. Both are gorgeous. You're like sunshine, rain. Like, it's so weird. So no hashtags in there, right? Everything's looking legit. But yeah, like some of these, just it's just scores of them. I didn't enjoy going through this for you guys. Like, I mean, I'm doing this community a favor by going through these and just weeding them out. Like, I don't expect thanks. I do it. I do it for the good of the community. So I'm a girl next door. Always wanted to grow up. Digital creator, right? Or virtual model and influencer. Okay. So it is in there. But like, just gonna bring that down there, stop me getting banned instantly. But yeah, like very, very limited. Yeah. Look at poor Matt here. Welcome back. Yeah, I hope you had a great time in Yellowstone Mountains. Can't wait to hear about the coffee shop. Like, is it just AIs talking to other AIs? Like, is that what we're doing now? We're just tuning in to see see you at the coffee shop. Like, what? What are you talking about? Yeah, this just goes on. But I mean, look, like, that looks. Come on, like, I know some of you in chat are like, come on, Jake, these are obviously AI. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, come on, there's not many of you looking at these would go, that's not a real girl. So I'm fully expecting us to to go down the route of how do we stop young people from being sucked into this. Now this one here, actually, I found that she doesn't state anywhere that she's AI. Right, it just says made in Australia, and yeah, this one, it's kind of like here the catchlights don't quite match up, and we've got some weird AI font and stuff back here, but she's not stating anywhere that she's AI, right? But come on, like, we've all seen images like that. There are certainly beautiful women out there who look like this, so it's not this is not unreasonable. So there at the moment there is no law, as far as I'm aware, that you have to state that that you're AI or not, right? What a mess, right? What an absolute mess. I don't know how we get out of that, and I'm sure there are links on here to OnlyFans and that sort of stuff. So look, if guys want to pay to see that, that's fine. It's their money. You do you. It doesn't matter. And let's not forget, right? I mean, I've worked with plenty of models here in the past, and they were like, oh, I was like, you got OnlyFans and that sort of stuff, and she's like, well, yeah, I mean, I don't ever touch it. I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, yeah, I've got OnlyFans and I make X amount from it each month, which is a lot, and yeah, but I've never touched it. And I was like, what do you mean? So she says, like, well, my account is just managed by a group of old dears in Las Vegas. They're just a bunch of yeah, like an agency, if you like. She said, yeah, it's just a group of older women out in Las Vegas running this agency. I give them my account login, because you got to remember that OnlyFans 24/7, right? Guy wants to chat to you and that sort of stuff, so they think that they are chatting to you, and she's it's just like rate your dick pic every Wednesday, and it's just like, I don't want to fucking do that. It's like, fair, yeah, so it's just a bunch of I just imagine this big room of old dears in Vegas, just all smoking, just talking dirty to men around the world, thinking they're talking to these young girls, which I find hilarious. But like, right, that's the same principle, right? It's you are like guys thinking they're talking to this person, but in reality they're talking to somebody else. There's another woman on here. I've forgotten the link now, but she's just set up an AI chatbot, and it's like $1 a minute or something like that, and it'll be her face and her voice and that sort of stuff. So she's set up the AI chatbot to talk to them, and like she said, at the moment it's like, oh yeah, I'm limiting it to 500 new people a day. What? Like, at the moment, like because it was all over the news and that sort of thing. and you're paying $1 a minute to talk to this girl, as in talk, because it's her voice, it's her AI generated voice and that sort of stuff. So she's just generated it, and then you're talking to it for $1 a minute. She's like, I got guys who just have already given me thousands. They've never spoken to me once. So we're in this weird. I mean, you guys have seen Blade Runner, right? What's that AI girl in Blade Runner? Like, we only saw that a handful of years ago, like the new Blade Runner, and there's that AI girl that he's interacting with, and we're all like, oh my god, that's cringe, it's creepy. It's like, oh, like, guys, we're there, right? We're there. It's actually happening. Yeah. Let's have a look. We got rid of the size 0 models on posters and magazines in the 90s to have them replaced by Instagram influencers now reaching millions every second of the day, and people say we're progressive. No, I agree with you, Dave. That's it. Yeah, like I mean, I remember the heroin-chic era was nuts, right? The size 0 and that sort of stuff, and it was, and look, supermodels don't exist now. Remember, like, how common were supermodels in the 90s? Claudia Schiffer, Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, Kate Moss, supermodels were a huge thing back then. Like, we don't have that now. And I'm not saying that those models were size 0, but I'm certainly saying that they were not indicative of the typical young woman at the time, right? So it was, that's why we kind of, like you said there, banned size 0 models on billboards and that sort of thing. And but they were real. And on my point there, when I was working early 2000s, especially with Photoshop and that sort of thing, I would be working with some girls that I'm I suppose it's a long time ago, I can say this now, but look, I'll be totally honest with you guys. I would have to enlarge them in Photoshop to avoid me getting cancelled at the time. Now, I would explain the situation to the model, because if you don't explain the situation to the model, they go, "Oh my god, I'm fatter than I thought." It's like, no, you're not. I've just had to kind of enlarge you a little bit so that we don't get cancelled, or the equivalent of back then, right? It's such a vicious circle. So you actually have girls who you be photographing, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I can't, like, you are tiny. Christ, we're going to get in trouble for this. Would you mind if I just added a little bit? It's a mess. It's a mess. But anyway, we're past that now. So we go through all that mess, and now we're into a situation where they're not even remotely real. So, like, at least back then, the girls that we were photographing were real, like it or not. But yeah, it's just not even remotely real now. Yeah. Mixed reality. Signs actually read in full words. So say, living in a weird sci-fi world, millions of followers for. These are going to cause very strange problems we can foresee yet. No, I agree with you, Andrew. Yeah, there's going to be, so this is the obviously one of the biggest ones here. So this is the girl, actually. This is the girl who's been 19 since 2019 or whatever it was, 2016 or whatever it is. Yeah. I agree with you. Like this is creating a new reality, whether we like it or not. And it's just the volume as well. You cannot tell me that there are some young girls coming along, seeing like girls like this posting 4 images a day of her traveling around the world, looking absolutely immaculately beautiful in every single image, and not feeling like, wow, that's crazy. How can I be like that? Yeah. They appeal to men because we as men will read neither instructions or descriptions. Yeah, you're not wrong there, Dave. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, men do not read the description. You're right. Yeah, that's on that note. So I put out emails, right? As I'm sure you guys know sometimes, and I will actually put freebies in some of those emails for just as like mucking around. Like free preset pack and that sort of stuff. Reach out to me with this, and the only people that have ever claimed any of those freebies has been women, because the women are the ones that read the emails, right? Men just like skim through the images and move on, right? I promise you, it's only ever been women who have actually read my emails and gone, oh, it's giving away something free here, and then they I get it. I just find it funny. It's only ever been women who have managed to do that, which is funny. Yeah. I take my glasses off and squint, but some are scarily real. Phil, I honestly, I mean, if you can spot these a million miles away or whatever, like if you can get this right 100% of the time, absolutely hats off to you. But I'm telling you, for the vast majority of people, like they are not going, oh yeah, she's fake, yeah, AI. Like it's not. And look, I get it. I think we all want to think that we would be able to spot a fake image, right? And I think that's why I was so kind of hurt and pissed off when I saw this work. I was just like, oh man, that's really cool. And then I found out it was AI, and I was like gutted, because you do feel a bit betrayed, right? And you feel like, damn it, it's not on. So there is definitely that kind of weird betrayal there when you find out that it's not real. You feel like you've been lied to for a moment, and it's weird, right? But again, I was kind of confused and thinking it through as to why it bothers me when it's an image. It's just an image. Like, enjoy the image. What does it matter how it was taken? Does it matter whether it's a photograph or painted with biro? Like, does it matter? So there is a certain like. So let's take that for example. Like, maybe that I saw this image, and I was like, oh wow, that's an incredible photograph, and I click on it. Oh, it's not actually a photograph. Oh, it's actually an oil painting. It's like, what? That's nuts, right? Kind of different thing, right? It's an appreciation of skill that you're like, oh my god, that's like of a human respect level of skill, right? That's so it's not the fact that it's not a photograph that is winding me up. It's just the fact of like, oh, throw away, a bunch of happy old women, all with sexy husky. Right, yeah. This is the like. I love the idea of the of these guys chatting to these old dears in Vegas. I think it's priceless. Just smoking away, just like yeah, great. Yeah. I rate your dick pic 4 out of 10. It's brilliant. Yeah. Dave says, I've politely declined to work with a couple of models purely because I feel they do not portray a healthy figure. I may be wrong in doing so, but I can't bring myself to promote somebody who is obviously abusing herself or have people that look I encourage. Yeah, I mean that's a huge topic to jump into, Dave. And look, you're the artist. At the end of the day, you're in control of your own work, and that's your prerogative to do that. Especially, I mean, like, you've got children yourself, right? So like, you know what it's like. And sometimes, me and my job, I certainly don't always get to choose the model at all. I turn up on the day, this is the model, boom. Self-harm marks is another huge one in the industry that I really struggle with. And self-harm marks will usually be, on the wrists or the inner thighs and that sort of stuff. And the reason being, is because these young ladies are usually trying to hide these self-harm marks. And it's like, well, what do you remove those? In Photoshop, like it's a big can of worms to open up. And because a lot of the time, a client will book a model and those self-harm marks aren't in the images that they've seen in the model because they've already been removed, right? If they've got their Polaroids or whatever it is, which is, supposed to be, just raw images of them. But a lot of the time they've already been removed, so you just perpetuate the cycle. But like, what do? You stop getting the girl work because you don't remove these, from Photoshop? Jeez, what? Again, it's one of those things. But yeah, it's your work. At the end of the day, you have to say what you do and don't do, who you will work with and who you won't work with. Yeah. Sandra says, yeah, I've had plenty of friends posting things which I've had to tell them are fake. Most people can't spot it. That's it. I mean, it's just so much volume out there of it, and it's like, is it a big deal that we have all these images out there? What does it matter, right? Now, I've just typed baby peacock because I'm like, I actually don't know what baby peacock looks like. Okay, so here we go. cool. Here's the first image of a baby peacock. That's nuts. That's crazy. Did not know that baby peacocks look like that. That's crazy, right? Now, that's not a baby peacock, right? That's a baby peacock. The thing is that somebody shared this weeks or whatever it was ago, and it went crazy around the internet because it wasn't stipulated as AI, and everybody was resharing it, like you're saying, Andrew. Everybody's resharing it. Oh my god, this is amazing! Have you seen this? This is nuts. It's so cute. Oh my god, it's adorable. Didn't realize this is what they look like. Right? This is the mess that we're in. So, look, I don't know about you, but if I don't know something 100%, I'm like, God, you know what? I just gonna double check that. You Google it, right? This is what I've just done there. Baby peacock image. Now, the reason I'm Googling it is because I don't know. Yeah? So, what am I going to do? I'm just going to boom. Oh, cool. That's cool. I just use that image. So, can you see how this is going to very quickly perpetuate, very, very quickly, and just get real out of hand? Because, like I've just said to you, right, there are 10 times the amount of AI images being shoved out into the world compared to real images, right? And it's just choking the system. So, and I would assume that Instagram or Meta in general is going to have to deal with this in some way, right? Does that honestly say Adobe stock? It must just be it. I mean, what a mess, right? Adobe stock. Like, that's, that's just, I mean, we already had this issue before where Adobe was encouraging people to upload AI art. If you remember, months ago I spoke about this. We were talking about AI art and that sort of stuff, and Adobe stock was going, yeah, upload it. You want to see it, guys. We want to make money from it. We want to share that money with you. Upload it. Boom. What was happening? They were just uploading all these AI images to Adobe stock, and they had no idea what was real and what wasn't, right? Well, here we go. This is, it's just you can't put this back in the bag, right? Because you know how the internet works. It just gets reshared and reshared. Whatever's the most popular. This is number one, right? This is number one. It's not this little guy. It's number one because that's the real one. But this one, yeah, it's I mean, I'm sure there are other things that this is happening with, yeah. For fuck's sake, the internet is already a mess, flooded with misinformation. We don't need stuff like that, baby. Andrew, I'm with you. Baby peacock is the last straw. I was with it. I was pro AI up until this point, but that is just the last straw. Hey Anubis, how you doing, mate? How you doing? You haven't missed anything, I promise you. You've just missed me ranting / panicking / despairing over baby peacocks. So yeah, welcome. Right. So okay. So that's my piece on it. Just interesting to where we're at with it. And yeah, does anybody in chat have a daughter? That they are. I mean, because if I did, I would be, tearing my hair out. Because this is evolving daily. This is not something that's like, well, she'll be old enough by the time this kicks off. I mean, we're there, right? But yeah, it's crazy times. So what else we got in the news this week? So this popped up, which I thought was kind of cool. All you guys out there with Hasselblads, don't worry, your dreams have been answered. There is finally an Instax Instaback for your Polaroid, for your Hasselblad. It's all been worth it, guys. Let's have a look. So look, I'm not gonna lie. If I had, that's pretty cool. if I had a Hasselblad, I'll be honest with you, I'd be like, do you know what? That is actually pretty damn cool. I would be tempted. So yeah, you just whack your Instax film on there. You got full control. Even got your dark slide and stuff there. Or a little pouch for the dark slide at the back there. Nice. But yeah, pretty nuts, right? So Nonce or whatever this company's called, whatever it is, Nons, whatever it is. They do these other ones here. So they just do. Was this just a regular one? Pretty cool, right? So you can get. So again, similar sort of thing. You just any lens you want, lens package. So you can get Nikon F adapter. I mean, it's $600 though. You got to be really into your Polaroid work for this, but I think it looks cool. It looks like a beautiful piece of kit. You know, done it up nice. This is the original one that they did for the little Baba ones, and now they've made this more refined fella that takes the big boys. But yeah, super cool. I mean, look, if I win the lottery tomorrow, obviously it wouldn't change my life, but but I would definitely be getting myself one of those. They are really cool, yeah, especially when you can put all these old school lenses on it and start using it with a Polaroid. The other thing as well is full manual controls, right? So you can underexpose and all that sort of stuff. That's the other issue with Polaroids, is that you can't really take full manual control. I think there is a shop in Hong Kong called Mint, I think, and what they do is they've converted some of the old Polaroids, like the SX70s or whatever it is, like the leather one that pops open. That's got full manual controls and that sort of thing, which is. So you can actually use it with a flash, right? So you can plug a strobe into it. So this, I don't think you can plug a strobe into. If you could plug a strobe into this, you know what? You know, I would be extremely tempted. Like a trigger, that's what I mean, like a flash trigger. But I mean, I suppose you could. In fairness, you've got a hot shoe up there. Is it a hot shoe or is it a cold shoe? Oof, I don't know. I can't see the top. I wonder if it's got contacts on top. That would be crazy. Oh, it does seem to. It does have. It's not a cold shoe. So you could put a trigger on that. Interesting. Okay. That could be cool. All right. I'll save up my Christmases for the next 10 years. Maybe I could get it. What with kids, no daughter though, I can see this causing huge issues. Oh, sure. I mean, the other thing as well, you know, young people. I hated school. But telling you, I absolutely hated school. But at least, you know, 3:30, 4 o'clock, boom, it was over, right? I could go home or whatever it was, hang out with my friends, and there was none of that, you know, bullying or whatever that was going on. They can't escape it today, you know, because it's as much online. Like they can never escape it. Is anybody else interested in this? You know, just out of curiosity. Now that we know that it can, you know, hold a flash trigger. But yeah, young kids just can't escape it. So I really feel for it. Yeah. It was 17, the perfect age for all the crap to appeal to. Oh, nice. Yeah. That'll be good. Good luck. Yeah, a few shoots could disappear if you tell them you have a. I don't know what is it. I don't know what company, what language that's in. Is it is it not? I mean, yeah, I don't know how you pronounce that. Is it just nons? I can't say it without it. Yeah, okay, that's enough of that before I get in trouble. So moving on then. Last week we were chatting about the Kodak Spotlight here that I've been playing with, and it's been crazy busy, I'll be honest, but and I got another busy few weeks ahead, but I really am still aiming to get the full article out on this next Tuesday, and I've been trying to, you know, weasel this thing into some of my recent shoots to just try and grab some images, right? Just to kind of play with it, see what it can do, and have a look. So let's have a look. I know, Andrew. Yeah, I think I've just ruined any chance of sponsorship from Nonce, but there we go. Can't win them all, I guess. So let's have a look. So I think I got some. I don't. This is an external hard drive, so it's just going to take a couple of seconds to wind up here. But yeah. So using that spot, right? That spotlight is like the regular stuff that we've all done with gobos and that sort of thing. You just, you're firing just sort of slivers of light, and that's, you can really just carve out exactly where you want it. It's got the little sliders in there that you can get this slice of light exactly where you want it. Yeah, these things here, right? These little things here. So look, this is the pretty standard stuff, right? That's what we're all used to seeing. Optical snoot and all that sort of stuff. Just get your slice of light. Pretty basic stuff. We've all seen that before. What I kind of found interesting about this was really just how versatile this light was, because this is these are some test shots that I did, and I wanted to test out how different I can get this spotlight to look. So this is just the spotlight. This is one light. Okay, so this is one light. It's the same spotlight, one light, right? Look how soft that light is. Pretty nuts, right? Okay, so we've got some more here again. So different. I've moved it around again now. This is more off to the side and that sort of thing. But just that beautiful soft light coming in from the side there. Like you're not getting that with a softbox. I'm telling you that now. Okay. Again here, just a little bit closer of a headshot. But yeah, coming in from the side, beautiful soft light. Just look at that light across the skin there, right? One light. It's that same spotlight, remember? And again here, right? Same one light again in there. I think I might have had a fill light here actually, just underneath. Okay, but it's that spotlight again. So really versatile light. This is just beautiful light coming from this thing. Again, you can see the fill light here on the camera left, just filling in the shadows, but that light just coming down like that, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, really nice. And then lastly, this was again trying it with a different. So I'm sort of like modifying. So all of these shots are kind of modifying that light in a different way to kind of get a different look from that light. But super versatile, right? Really versatile. And then I tried it again here. So we've seen this one. I'm using it there, which is fine. But here again, using this spotlight with color, right? This is what I find really interesting, is how clean and even this tone is here. Now, to some of you may be like, oh, you're not really sure what all fuss is on that. And I get that, but what's going on here with how clean this light is from edge to edge is actually pretty difficult to do, right? You don't get that with a softbox because there's a hotspot, and you go, well, Jake, just get a bigger softbox, okay? Then what do? You just move it further away. Because if you move it too close, if you move it in nice and close, you're going to have that hotspot, right? You're not going to, which is not there. When you go, okay, well then just move it away. Okay, well then you need a bigger softbox. I'm able to create this incredibly super soft lighting, really even tone of color across the whole model there. Here as well, So you got to think, right? This is the opposite of hard light. Hard light would be shiny reflections and that sort of stuff. This is like almost zero highlight on any of this. It's just beautifully soft. Really interesting time playing with this thing. Look at that. It's the same tone, right? Very difficult to do, especially in a small space. Okay, small studios, that sort of thing. This spotlight is one of the most versatile modifiers I've ever played with, and you can do some of this with a optical snoot that some of you guys have already got, but there's a couple of things that this is doing that that it is making it able to do this, and hopefully I'll show you in the article next week. But really interesting piece of kit, and I would put this like top 3 modifiers. Like this, yeah. I can't really see myself without this thing now, with some of the ideas and lighting that it just makes life a huge amount easier. So I'll go over some of the setups in the article. Like I said, really going to try and put it out next week. But yeah, interesting, very interesting modifier. Pricey, and has some caveats that we spoke about with regards to the like the back of it there, and then it doesn't really work with strobes because like the bulb and stuff gets in the way. And again, I'll talk about it in the article, but very interesting modifier, very, very powerful. Yeah. Black Feathers from Sheen have some cool costume ideas for a few quid. That name rings a bell. Yeah, was it SEIN? Sheen peacock dress. Sheen baby peacock. Oh, okay. So they just do. Oh my god! Whoa! God, look at another one. This is like Minority Report. When he's walking through the bloody mall or whatever it is, and they're coming up and jumping. This is like we're in there. We're in that point already. Thanks to Gmail for giving away my email address. Nice. Yeah, how about them? So they just do some. Why was the peacock? Like the peacock dress came up straight away. Feathers. God, that is cheap. Yeah. I'll tell you what. I mean, like this is one of the things that. So I've got a bunch of outfits here, right, that I've bought over the years, bits and pieces, whether it be like a black leather trench coat or feathers, and if you're going to be doing this for a long period of time, it is worth just accumulating some bits and pieces like this. So like Norm's just said there, he's maybe doing the same thing, grabbing a few bits. This is really cool actually, because that's pretty much what she was wearing, to be fair. Yeah, that I'd never seen it before. This kind of over the straps over the shoulder thing. Yeah. Can't go wrong for £6 though, can you? Hey, Google, really, please protect your email address. Here it is to everybody. Thanks. Okay. Have you exactly? Yeah. So if you can somehow access Sheen without crashing your system, do it. I forgot what we were talking about. Yeah, so we were talking about this. Really interesting product. And modifier. It's been a lot of fun playing with it, and I've been adapting bits and pieces with it. Yeah, really cool. So yeah, look out for that article when it comes out. We got a bunch on. We got a Rhodolite workshop coming up 2nd of September in London. Anybody's interested in that, check it out. We've got a few spaces left in there. What else we got coming on? We got so I did a shoot the other week or something like that, and where was it? Yeah, I can close this. It was this young lady here. Now, sharing these images last week in a Technique Tuesday, where I was talking about long exposure and that sort of thing. Now, turns out she's sort of changing careers, as it were, and she's trying to get into well, she is into it, but she's in like the perfume industry and that sort of thing. Anyway, perfume company saw her shots that I took that she shared. They want to do a perfume ad and that sort of stuff. So you never know who's watching, So we got that coming up the next week or so. That'll be interesting. Terrified they're going to ask me for some still life, but I think it is just going to be portraits style with her, long exposure stuff. If it is long exposure stuff, it'd be really cool, because companies don't really have the balls to go for long exposure stuff, so it'd be good if they go for that. Yes, we've got that coming up. We got some. I'm still doing a bunch of online training with several of you guys, which as well, which is cool. Just finished up that burlesque shoot. Those images are going out. We've got a video for Rotolite, so they want to do a series of videos, which will be I think they'll be shorter videos, because they're only putting aside a day to film them all. That'd be cool to do some sort of, maybe video mini tutorial type stuff. Like, if it's TikTok, I won't tell you. So yeah, hopefully doing that at the end of the month as well. So keep an eye out for those. That could be cool. So yeah, we've got some interesting bits coming down the pipe. So yeah, be busy. Yeah. You setting fire to pole dances this weekend, as you do. Okay, so what's happening then, Dave? Are you gonna be is like the pole gonna be on fire, or is it just long exposure? They're gonna be like twirling fire and that sort of stuff. Are they gonna be what's the deal with that? Could be cool with some slightly longer shutter speed stuff. Yeah, could be cool. Right then, let's get cracking with your images. If you join late, then we're going to go through some shots now. So we're going to go through your images that you've shared here. Okay, if you missed it, just scroll back to last night's post, share a shoot, pop your images in the comments, and we will go through them in a second. We tend to do this every stream, so thank you to everybody who shared an image. It's absolutely gorgeous work in here. So let's have a look at what we got first. So Vlad is most relevant, apparently. That's what it says. So Vlad says, I'm probably going to miss the stream. Wow. I think you know somebody. Here's my most recent shot. NECC is welcome as always. I mean, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous colors. Love so much about this, I have to say. I think you shared, one of these types of images a few weeks back, and I think everybody in chat at the time was like, oh my god, the colours are gorgeous, greens and oranges, and it looks like you've really doubled down on this one. I would kind of say that this colour grade is actually tricky to pull off, but I think you've done it beautifully here. You've really pushed all those probably wet brown colours into that orange, and then you've really sort of solidified all those greens and yellows into one. So I think the grade is really strong on this. Yeah, really strong. Having a subject in there is kind of nice for scale, right? It's always good to try and have a subject in your shot if you can do. Not only does it help for scale, but it helps to like ground it a little bit. Nice that the outfit's kind of timeless as well. I think years ago I was kind of driven to understand what makes a perfect image, right? And one of the things that kept coming up was really this timeless aspect. Like, how can we make some of our image, like how can we make an image kind of timeless? Like evergreen content as we call it now, but timeless sounds far more romantic. But how can we try and do that? And removing like mobile phones or even words and books, like removing that can help to maintain that timeless quality. Being careful of fashion and that sort of stuff. And that can really resonate with us. It's fine to have an image that speaks of a time, but I think timeless images are always a safe bet, and this kind of has definitely got that vibe for me as well. Like the outfit is super neutral. I don't know. Like this could be the this could be the 1920s or it could be 20 years from now. So I think I think you've done a good job with that. I'm kind of torn on this here. And I think it adds something to the story rather than it just being like a nature shot. And it does definitely add something to the story. It really feels like he's come across it and he's looking at it like, what the hell is that? What does that mean? So I think it works. I think it adds that element to it that is just taking it from a nature image to what's going on here image. I wouldn't mind knowing what that does actually mean though. Is it just like minefield around the corner? Like, is that what that means? Like beware, or because that's usually like red triangles, usually not a good thing, Vlad. Yeah. So Dave says, is a test shoot before the main event at the end of the month? Nice, yeah. Butane mixed with soapy water to make bubbles, which is placed on the models and set alight. Couple of seconds of intense flame from the butane, then it's gone. I don't know, man. That sounds sus. It sounds super sus. Yeah. Tree marked for removal. Thank you, Dave. Interesting. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. Do you know what? I was in Africa a million years ago, and they had houses with red triangles on it. Now that you mention, they were widening the highway. Yeah. Now that you say that. Yeah. Oh man. Anyway. Soapy water with butane. That is a new one on me. Yeah, I'm just going to stick to the oily models. Thanks. That is. I'm just not sure my insurance covers that. Yeah, rather you than me. But good luck though. I definitely look forward to seeing the shots. Sounds amazing. Yeah, just make sure you have 400 disclaimers in place. So Rusty's got an image here, some basic one light work, but always a good day when I get to shoot with my favourite models. Yeah, great model, by the looks of it. Yeah, I will say I'm really enjoying using hard light more in the studio. There's a single strobe with deep focus reflector and a 30-degree grid. Canon. Where's the keystroke for the degrees? Sorry, I got distracted. Canon EOS R with EF 85mm 1.8, I say 200F. Okay. So yeah, Rusty, like I said here, Rusty just saying, just single hard light, just playing with that. Hard light is actually pretty difficult to do well. I think a lot of us start out with hard light, speed lights, right? Super hard light, and you're really unforgiving. But hard light is actually difficult to do well. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, fun to play with. Nice. Rusty's got the model like close enough to the background, so there's just a little bit of light spilling back there to show that separation between subject and background. So again, good, just simple things like that can make a huge amount of difference. Like imagine if she was too far forward using a hard light and the background's just black, like these legs and stuff are just going to disappear. So having the model a little bit close to the background helps. Just in terms of skin and stuff like this, this is let's have a look. So sometimes about matching the skin, because hard light can be very unforgiving when it comes to color, because I think I've said this before, but whenever you increase the contrast, you simultaneously increase the saturation, and that applies in camera, in Photoshop, Lightroom, whatever it is. It's just a hard and fast rule of color, right? And whenever you increase the contrast, you simultaneously increase the saturation. So what can happen when we start to use one light, hard light, like we're doing here, hard light, very contrasty, is we also can increase some of the saturation in the subject as well, which can lead to kind of being a little bit off sometimes when it comes to skin tone and that sort of thing. So one thing that we can kind of try and do here is we create a new layer just to see if we can kind of match the face tone here, right, to the same skin tone here, and we just create a new layer and change this layer to color, and then what we want to do is just take a brush and just grab a color sample here on the chest, and then just paint 100% just over the face there. Okay. So it looks terrifying at the moment, right? But if we just double click on the right hand side of this layer here, what we can kind of do is use blend if to bring the shadows through from underneath, and also bring the highlights through as well. So we just grab this bottom box here. As I move that, I want you guys to be looking, and just zoom in. You guys can see it when you be looking in here. As I move that, you can see that the shadow comes in. You see that? Right, so we just want to move it until, boom, we just have a little bit of shadow there. Then I'm going to hold down the Option key and just split that, which is just going to feather that out. Okay, and then we can do the same on this side. So like we know this is the highlight here on the forehead, right? So we kind of want to make that to shine through. So if we just bring this, watching here, you watch that highlight come through, yeah? So we just want to bring it to us there, and then again we can split this and just feather that out. So we're almost there. We have got rid of some of that redness in the skin there, but of course, like the eyes and lips, we still want to mask out. So we just take a brush and 100% create a mask, and then just paint back in the lips, yeah, and the eyes as well if you want, which you should do. And you can just tidy up the hair as well. I think we're pretty much good there though. And that can help to just try and, if you can see that, just try and even out some of the skin tone redness there on the face, right? Off and on, off and on, yeah. Super quick to do. Yeah, it doesn't take much. Okay. Thanks for sharing that on Rusty. Yeah, nice one. Yeah. Check out a guy called Shade Flame Water on Insta. He uses it a lot as part of their Cirque performance. I was licensed Cirque today. I gotcha. Yeah. Dave says you can do that with gradient mask or the hue saturation with toggling reds. Absolutely. Yep, you can do that. This is probably the way that I've just shown you there is probably just a little bit easier to do. You don't need too much knowledge to be able to do what I've just done there. Ted loves the outfit. Oh, thank you, Ted. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. Was it Ted who? Yeah, I think it was somebody in chat was like, I'd love for you to work with such and such model, and it was Miriam here. I reached out and yeah, it was cool. It was good. It was whoever it was. For some reason I thought it was Ted. Maybe it's not. So we've got a shot here from Andrew. Not a shoot, but did some photos with Manchester Caribbean Carnival at the weekend. So much fun and energy on show. Got some absolute bangers. Looks, I mean, yeah, crazy. I love the balance of the flash with the daylight here. I think you've nailed that. To my non-UK watchers and listeners, this is a very typical street here in England. Because I was like, that's near me? I was like, it looked like, before I read Manchester, there's so many. So where I am as well, I have a lot of red brick houses, super typical. Is there areas in America that has a ton of red brick? Is it Boston? You have a ton of red brick there as well, or is there certain areas? We seem to be all over here. Anyway, getting off track here. So Andrew says, yeah, Caribbean Carnival, so much fun, energy, got some absolute bangers. I mean, yeah, it looks like you had awesome time. Let's just grab this again. I'm pretty sure you're using fill-in flash there just to balance that out. I'd say you've nailed it. So let's have a look. So one thing that David mentioned a minute ago there, he was saying about selective color and that sort of stuff. We can do that in here, right? We can come in and use selective color, and for example, again, super easy if we just want to like adjust the cyans here, darken down this sky a little bit. Then I'm just selecting it and then just hitting the game. It's just somewhere in between so that we can all see what's going on. So you just select those blues in there. Pretty simple stuff, right? Same thing with the yellows. If we go, we want to darken those down a little bit. I'm actually tempted just to even this out a touch. So I'm just going to create a curves layer, and I'm going to come up to, when I say even, I mean even out the, where is this? Apply image. Even out the exposure a little bit. So here I've just applied image, which is showing me this is a mask, so it's only going to affect the highlighted areas. So now when I come on to here, I can just darken those highlights down a touch. I'm just going to put this above that I'm going to come back in here and have a look at these reds a second. So the reds are usually going to be in the skin. I just want to dial them in a little bit. But yeah, using the selective color there, like David mentioned, you know, if you just want to target whole areas like that, then you can do that. It's going to do the whole image, you know, which is useful to keep an image looking tight if all the blues are doing the same thing. We can come in and maybe just play around a little bit with a grade on this. I'm not sure if there's anything that jumps out. Let's have a look. I'm just looking at it because we got some super strong colors in here. I was just seeing if there was anything we could kind of lean into blue wise, maybe. Maybe the reds. Going a bit funky. I think there's something in here that I just can't quite. Not convinced. I want to try and just tighten up those. Maybe start in the greens, because the greens might have some of the yellow in there. Let's have a look. Yeah, they do. Okay. There we go. So what it's kind of looking to just tighten up like these yellows and oranges that we have here. So really just trying to give them a little pop like that. So then we can maybe come to the reds. I think I preferred it before. Oh, there's maybe something there now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just I think first and foremost, just really darkening it down from where it was, and then just punching out those colors again. Yeah. I'd probably actually just get rid of that green in the bottom there. Helps if you got it all, Jake, but yeah, just get rid of that green in the bottom there, because we don't need that. Yeah, cool shot though. Yeah, really cool shot. Let's have a look. Raffaella, I really love these colors. Great picture. Yeah, thank you, Raffaella. Yeah, I mean, colors on this was something that I kind of wanted to play with. I had the background, and I was just trying to match the colors on her a little bit. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah. I happen to have my 8200 in my bag. Worked well with the sun. 5 minutes earlier, it was tipping it down. Oh yeah, true. There's a lot of. Yeah, you're right. The floor does look. Yeah, true. Yeah, there is a lot of, but that adds to the shine, though. To be fair, do you know, I had overlooked that, but yeah, I mean, I would say you'd like. I mean, you could just darken it down a touch, but otherwise, I think you pretty much nailed the fill-in flash. Works well. Yeah, it works really well. Yeah. Simon, I've been building my light bars on and off for a while. So here's a picture using them finally. The neat little light sources now. Planning to bring them along on the 2nd. So Simon's referring to the Rotolight workshop in London. See how much better the Rotolights are. Simon, this is outstanding. This is honestly, this is light years ahead of where you were, a year or so ago when you were lighting these figures. This is absolutely, this is really good stuff, man. It's really good stuff. You're really looking at the highlights, looking at the size of the highlight on the subjects here, like placing the actual character in such a way that we've actually got this highlight just filling the entirety of this plane. Honestly, man, this is huge improvement from where we were. And I'm not poo-pooing what you'd done before, but this to me really shows that you're really paying attention to where the light is in relation to the model and stuff here, and really looking at these highlights, just glancing across these planes. Okay, this is what makes still life so difficult, is like not necessarily the lighting, but actually the reflection of the lights in the subject, which is what this is. What these are reflections of the light in the actual subject itself. So because these toys, whether it be a glass bottle or a car, shiny plastic model like this, very difficult to light, because light just bounces off them rather than soaking it up. Like skin on people, pretty easy to light, because light is a lot of texture in our skin. It's very easy to light something. Okay, take it to the extreme, you cannot light a mirror, right? You can't. The light goes into the mirror and it just bounces off. You can't see light hitting that mirror because it's bouncing all the light out. Okay, the only way you light a mirror is to see the reflection of the light in a mirror. Yeah, which is what makes lighting cars and that sort of thing and shiny objects extremely difficult. So this is excellent, man. This is really good. Really cool. Maybe be interested in taking this further and adding some atmosphere in here. With these. Normally I wouldn't recommend these because I think it's super expensive, but like the haze in a can, just put that behind him there, just to get a little bit extra depth. That could be cool. I see people using haze in a can all the time, which is fine if you're like run and gun at a wedding, whatever. You just need to get a little bit of atmosphere and then you're out. But it is very expensive. Nothing wrong with them. They're really good. It's just super expensive to use it, for like portraits and that sort of thing. But for something like this, small, you could really just place that haze where you want it. Could be really cool. Dry ice would be another really strong way of controlling this. You could hide the dry ice back here, and you would get a lot more controllable smoke and haze. And forgive me, but yeah, this looks like this is kind of smoldering city behind him there. So adding that as well. Dry ice is not expensive either. Yeah. I was gonna say a vape, Dave. Yeah, buy a vape and just blow through it instead of sucking. Yeah, you could do that. They are a little bit pricey, but I think you can just get flavored vapes, right? You don't have to get crack-filled ones or anything like that. You don't have to be chasing the dragon to get the shot or anything. But yeah, like that is an option, and I've certainly seen people do that quite successfully on shoots. In fact, there's probably a forum somewhere on it, because there are some vapes that don't give hardly any smoke. If you're trying to hide it, or there are some vapes that give tons of smoke for insecure men in small cars, just like billowing smoke out of it and that sort of thing. So there are certainly vapes that give tons and tons of smoke for whatever reason. Yeah. I don't know anything about it, sadly. I gave up smoking many years ago now. No crack-filled ones make everything great. Yeah, the true. Yeah. Visit your local multi-story car park to pick those ones up. So Mark's got a shot here, just having some more fun with gels. Really like having models wearing leather for these. Yeah, Mark, absolutely. This is a great point about chasing clouds. Nice, yeah. This is kind of leads into what I was literally just saying. This is actually perfect. Because you're saying about lighting, like the little models and cars and that sort of thing, where we're looking at shiny surfaces. So thinking about the like the clothing and outfits for your models is huge. Like here, this was a really interesting one that was kind of difficult to work with, because I was aware this would happen, but it's the same thing, right? You have this jet black leather that doesn't take up any of the light, apart from where it catches the light in terms of reflections. Yeah, so like beautiful, almost like watery kind of effects to it, but because it's this black leather, it's not. You can't light it. It only sees the reflection of the light, And this is where exactly what's going on here with what you're doing, Mark. You're saying about, yeah, you love, having the models wearing this because it just makes your life so much easier. This is why dark-skinned models are great for gel lighting, right? Very easy to photograph dark-skinned models with gel lighting because their skin reflects the color beautifully. And this is kind of what's happening here. Like, imagine if you had white cotton here, you're just not going to get the same effect, right? I'm going off on a tangent now. I mean, this is another example here where if you are going to light something, like huge like this, we need huge modifiers to get these huge reflections. Because remember, you can't light the shiny surface. You just have to see the reflection of the light in the surface. That's how we light something like this that's shiny. Now, the same is kind of also true for delicate cotton and that sort of thing. We need larger, so like here, for example, right? This sort of thing is very difficult to gel as well, because like white cotton, I know, seems obvious enough, but if you're just going in there with like a spot, with a gel on, you're just not going to see any of the color because it's just that white cotton doesn't really reflect out as much light. So again, we need like a large, super soft modifier to get that color. So yeah, using this is great. Yeah, really, really cool. I think it works so well with these types of lighting and that sort of thing. I will say the light here is really, really nice. The blue on the face here is absolutely nailed that. My concern on this one is just going to be the height of this light on the left hand side. So I would say that it's a little bit bright. We're starting to get some blown highlights here and here, so it's a little bit bright, but also like the height of it needs to be a little bit higher. Okay, because we can see, we just coming up here, we can kind of see that hitting the nose and that sort of thing there. We kind of want that light to be up here coming down more, right? Because I kind of feel that's what the blue is, and I feel like we're just got to be careful when we're doing a pose like this or something like this where that light is coming from below. Like, we're just on the cusp of it here. We can just see it on the top of the shoulder here, which is okay. We're just on the cusp, but I would still maybe want just to have it a little bit higher up. But otherwise, really, really cool. One thing to watch out for here as well is just the nose catching the light, and this is something that I'm always wary of. This is me nitpicking. This is not. I don't think this is a huge game breaker for your image or anything like that. This is just me nitpicking, and this is me looking at what I'm looking for in my images. So take from this what you need to. But for me, I'm always wary of either an edge light or something like that catching a nose like this. It's always a little bit tricky. Okay, and again, like the brightness here, this is definitely too bright, so we kind of just need to see if we can rein that in. So again, just apply image, and then we've got our mask here, which is like, remember, a mask, the white areas of a mask is what's going to be affected, right? So we can kind of, so that's darkening a lot rather than specifically. One thing that you can do here, right, is we kind of, I wanted to target the lighter areas, but maybe I wanted to target more specific lighter areas, because this is kind of, because the image is bright overall, it's kind of got a lot there. So if we come over here and just click on the mask, just click on the properties here. Now if we come to color range, we come in here and like we can do skin tones. This would usually work, but we're using colored gels, so it doesn't really apply to us. So we kind of have to stick to highlights here, right? Now here we can kind of dictate which, so remember the white areas is what's going to be affected. So I kind of want to just, because at the moment we've got everything being selected, but here you can see we really want to just target that camera left side of the body. Yeah. We can kind of play around with this. Let's just go with that. Did that do anything? Hello? Okay, it was weird. Okay, so now you can see that we have like just that very specific area there on the side. So we may be able to darken that down. So the issue is going to be that we start to have this banding effect. Let me just try that again. So we just create a curves layer, image, apply image. That's just going to give us the straight, regular highlights, right? And we come in here, double click on this, go color range, and let's just turn up the fuzziness. Let's try that. I haven't actually tried if we made that a smart object, whether we could adjust that mask afterwards. Don't know. Okay, that's a little bit better. But still, it's just too bright. Really, that's the issue. Yeah. So one thing we can do here is we can try and just focus on the luminosity, so it doesn't affect the color. If I'm honest, it rarely kind of works. You're almost better off just fine tuning it in here. Reasons when you start darkening down any color, we usually add saturation, right? That's usually what happens. As soon as we start darkening down a color, it starts to add saturation. So just switching this curves to luminosity will help, but in my experience, it's a bit hit and miss, right? I don't think there's a huge amount that we can kind of do with that highlight. It's just blown on the JPEG there. So what can we do about this nose then? Is there anything we can kind of do to kind of bring that in line with the blue? Or we could use a technique we just used a minute ago with color, right? So we just create a new layer, change that to color. Then what, we just select the blue here, 100%, and just paint over the nose. Interesting. It actually works pretty well. So what we need to do, I'm not happy with the color, so you can either just undo that and get a new paintbrush color or whatever, or we can just come in here and kind of try and adjust the color manually here. So for example, let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. Still very bright, isn't it? I'm just kind of curious. So I'll just kind of see if we could. I think I just hit the wrong. Yeah, I hit open rather than Command I for invert. So we just darken that down. Now, you'd probably need to do that a couple of times to really target that blue on the end of the nose. But you see where I'm going with it. It's getting pretty close. Even something like this, you could target it down and just mask it back in. You'd probably need to adjust the color on that a little bit, but otherwise, it's pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty close. So here, what was it in the blues? Just to add some. So I'm just looking at the color. See if I can. So we need to add some blue, some yellow. There we go. Going to get more into the cyan. That's that's looking pretty damn spot on. Let's come back to the cyan. Just add a touch more blue, a touch more yellow in there. Like that's pretty legit, right? That's pretty legit. So, right. Now, I've actually gone over the underside of the face there just to clean it up as well, so that we have just that side of the face just all blue. Now, if you weren't happy with the tone of that, you know, remember you can come in here and switch it a little bit. Let's have a look. Yeah. 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 Okay. So it just cleans up that lighting a little bit on the face. Yeah. So just catching that nose just cleans it up. Still, you know, you could mask out like the eyes or just under there if you wanted to. I think I'm okay with that. Yeah. Yeah. Cool though. Yeah. But yeah, great job on the image. I think it's I think you've, you know, lit it really well. Blue is beautiful on that side with regards to the highlight and where you've positioned that coming down the face. Like, it's not overexposed. We've got a lot of detail on the skin, like we haven't blown out the skin texture. We've got a lot of nice texture there. It's just that light on the left hand side, a little bit hot. Just bring it up a little bit higher. Yeah, yeah. Hey Paul, how you doing, man? How you doing? Hope you've been well. Let's have a look. So Chris, after watching your tutorial video on gels, nice one, Chris. So this is Natasha, right? I worked with Natasha a million years ago. Yeah, she's great model. Yeah, really nice girl. Really cool. So I mean, I think in terms of, you know, overall, we got this nice blue color coming down from above like that. We definitely got some pink in there. It looks like we got maybe a little bit of orange coming from below as well. So, you know, overall placement seems pretty strong. I would say some of these just feel a little bit bright. Just darken them down a touch, right? So this feels like a little bit hot. So we just darken those down just a little bit. So again, we could do that in a lot of different ways. One is just going to be like an easy one. It's going to be the cyan. Just come in here on the selective color. Probably some of the blues as well. Let's have a look. We got some reds in there. Just open those up a little bit, so we can see the orange down there. Like, it is there. It just needs a little bit more. Just seeing what's down there, but yeah, we can, like, this. It's definitely some just even darkening it down a touch like that can help. So, and then we can come in here on top with a color grade, color curve, whatever you want to call it. So we can just punch up the reds in the highlights here just to bring out some of that hair up there. That could work. Just come into the green here. Again, the opposite green is going to be magenta, so dragging this down is going to help to bring out some of those pinks. Here we can immediately see those starting to pop there as well. Now bringing this up in the highlights, just going to add just a little bit of green to the highlights, which can help our cyan, which is, you know, blue-green mix anyway. So adding a little bit of a pop to the highlights here can help to keep the brightest part of the image up there, as opposed to it being everywhere. So just bringing that highlight back does help. Now the blues here as well, we're going to have tons that we can do with this. Adding the blue is going to give us that sort of purpley pinky color as well in the shadows, so that can definitely help. And it really depends as to how kind of blue we want that highlight, or how cyan we want it. So we could even just grab this black point here and bring that up, just to add, if you're not aware, grabbing the black point, so that's the pure black point of the curve here, is going to add that specific color to the blacks. So if we wanted, we could have blues in the shadows, like in the pure black shadows there, but without it. So obviously there's two blue everywhere, so we can just drag the actual blues back down of the subject. Now, with any color grade, what I always recommend doing is checking it out and then, you know, going away and then coming back, you know, grabbing a drink, whatever, looking at it again. And, you know, it comes with a little bit of experience as to get quicker at that, you know. But I still to this day will work on an image or on a set of images, because you can drag the color grade across, right? Once you've done it, you know, you can just, you know, you open up your next image. Okay, cool. You're working on a series of images, happy with this color grade. If you just hold the shift key and then bring it across, it's just, you know, you can just add that color grade to all your images. So what I'll do is I'll usually work on a set of images, go away, do something else, edit some other images in Lightroom, something like that, come back and then fine tune them, and then I usually have to drag all the color curves across all the images then. But yeah, usually letting like a color grade sit for a little bit, you know, because your eyes are going to adjust, especially with delicate colors like some of the yellowy greens and that sort of thing. You've really got to be real careful with it, you know. But overall though, like, you know, the lights are in the right place there, it's looking good. I just think we just want to be careful on how bright they are. So sometimes just, you know, reducing the exposure of those lights, the brightness of those lights, can help to bring out the saturation of some of those colors. So just ease off on it a little bit. So Paul's shot here, great shoot with the model Cherry, messing around with the gels and fillers to get this hazy look. Nice. Hope to catch some of the stream tonight, but we'll be out for the beginning. Perfect timing then. You just got here, Paul. Yeah. Hope you're well, mate. Thanks for sharing this one. This is beautiful, by the way. It's really, really nice. And I think one of the things that's nice about it is the fact that we have so much tonal detail in this fill light here. I think it's very easy for some of the fill lights to blow out and it just be overexposed, or we just lose too much shadow detail and it kind of loses it. Or on top of that, it can be too overpowering, so that it starts to dominate. Like the fill light should never dominate the key light, right? So I think this is pretty much bang on. Hey Chris, no worries, man. Yeah, you know, I'm glad you were here for that. I'm also glad you're playing with the gels. Natasha was great though, right? She's always a good model. I hope she's doing well. Haven't seen her in forever, but I know she's doing her own thing now, which is cool. So back to Paul's shot here. So a lot going on here, Paul. I think there's, you know, a lot to like about it in terms of the lighting. I think it's, you know, just be careful of the brightness here on this side. It's just on the edge of being a little bit hot, kind of difficult. If you're in chat, what modifier is this light over here? Is it like a dish, like an open dish or something like that? She's fab. Nice, Chris. Yeah. Is it open dish, or we got like an umbrella, or we doing here like a dish, or what is this? Where is my paintbrush? There it is. Yes, we got a light over here. I'm just kind of curious as to what that is. So we've got a white light over here on the left. You know, it's a strip box, your fave. Okay. That's nuts how hot that is. That's just crazy to me how hot that is. Again, I presume it's because it's pretty close, right? It's just out of shot. Yeah. Look, one simple thing you could try there is switch it to an umbrella. You know, switch it to an umbrella. It's gonna get rid of that. Gonna get rid of that hot spot. It's gonna spread the light a little bit more evenly. You know, if you bring the umbrella in real close, you don't need to worry about it spreading around the room. You will be able to control it. And if you still can't, I mean, I was going to say if you still can't control it, but no, you should be able to. Yeah, that's what I would say. And the reason I recommend an umbrella in this situation always over a strip box, and like Paul has alluded to there, is the fact that, you know, I do kind of shit on the strip boxes a little bit, but that's purely because of the fact that they have a hotspot. When we're dealing with gels, we usually have our lights in real close to the subject so we can really control that light. Now, that's fine. It's just that when we move our lights in super close to the subject like this, softboxes will start to have a hotspot, right? So it's like you noticed, you know, like this sort of thing here, right? Compared to like this sort of thing here, right? You know, how can we get this, you know, this very controlled bead of light without it being, you know, beautiful. You're just not doing that with a strip softbox. So here as well, this light on the face here, just gotta be careful of it. I would just love to have seen that chin just a tiny bit further round, so that we don't have this weird pocket of shadow here. So just kind of, you know, leaning into that light a little bit. You know, I love the pose, love the power that she's got there. And so Paul says, so is the orange, the white is a beauty dish, cam left, it's your light setup on your site using softboxes. Gotcha. This is the which one on the website using softboxes? The one, I'd have to have a look. It's not ringing any bells. But lastly, in terms of the pose, so we've got the hands like that. Kind of looks a bit weird, right? If we just flip that hand around, yeah, I'm breathing in. If we flip that hand around, it's just far more pleasing. It just avoids this weird kink in the wrist. Okay, so just spin that hand around. We also get rid of all the like the fingers and stuff here, so it's, you know, it's very busy. Just flip that hand around. Just something to be mindful of, because when we're looking at it like this, we're looking at the widest part of the wrist. If we flip that hand around, we're now looking down the side of the wrist, which is the thinnest part of the wrist. Okay, so again, it's just like all little things like that can add up. But yeah, just flip those fingers behind. It just helps to clean up the image. But like I said, overall, I mean, Paul, I am nitpicking here, absolutely. But because I know you've been here a long time, I am nitpicking, right? If this was somebody new sharing their first image for the first time, I'm not going to be saying these things to them. So I am nitpicking. So, you know, this is an excellent image. 100%, this is an excellent image. There's a huge amount that's right with this image. I am really eking out just the last couple of you know, areas that we can look at there. Yeah. In always, yeah. I kind of said that because I was like, Christ, if there's new people watching and it's like, oh, I was gonna submit an image and then Jake's just absolutely shredding it, then you know, no, it's like, you know, Paul's been here a long time. It's the same with, you know, several people here, you know, and there's even people I do online one-to-ones with as well. I'm extremely hard on them as well, because, you know, we're at that stage now where we're just trying to eke out those last little things. Yeah. But this is a great shot. Yeah, love the colors, and also great use of the haze as well, or the filter. I think it works beautifully in areas which would ordinarily be very shadowy. Yeah, really cool. As we got John's image here, he says, I need to do some new color stuff. This was done in 2021. I used a cheap metal snoot and used an extension tube to modify it into a DIY projector. Nice for the slit of orange color. The rest was just a couple of speed lights and gel. So I think I mentioned this before, but yeah, John's main. Hey Robert, how you doing? John's main field, as it were, is jewelry. So he makes these incredible pieces of jewelry, and it got to a point where he's like, well, I kind of want to photograph this jewelry I'm making. So he said, you know, I'll go out and get a camera and do it myself, right? Take some pictures. Now, I recently did a podcast with John. It was really more about like film. You know, that's kind of like the foundation of his podcast was you know, the film analog style of things. We kind of touched on it then, I think, but you know, it's a sign of the times, isn't it, where somebody can be like John here, jewelry maker, and you go, I need to take pictures, I'll just go out and buy a camera and do it myself. It's kind of weird, right? Because 20 years ago, that's not what you did, right? It's bizarre. It's like the entry to, like the, you know, like the barrier to entry or whatever it's called for photography now is so low that, you know, a jewelry maker can go, do you know what? I'll just go out and buy a camera, you know, rather than hire a photographer. I can just go out and do it myself. It's an interesting sign of the times. And I mean, he's right. I mean, he's absolutely right. You know, sure, crack on, get out there, start taking some pictures and play with it. So the reason I mentioned all of that is because I know that John does a lot of film analog photography, so I don't know whether this is analog as well. But yeah, this is nice, you know, and love the idea. I love the fact that he's just getting out there and just playing around with. So I mean, this image is, you know, several years old now, but you know, back then playing around with, you know, DIY projector, just trying to you know, shine light down a tube there with some orange color and that sort of thing. But like the basic principle is bang on, right? It's got this nice separation. We've got light coming from this side. We've got, what's it called, chiaroscuro or something like that. Certainly can't spell it. And you got, you know, you got that light dark aspect, and that's kind of what we got going on here. We got this, you know, light dark look to it, which is, you know, I think works well. Yeah. Hey, no worries, Phil. Yeah, no worries. I will just share. I think we should be okay. The stream should be good. Yeah. Okay. No worries, Phil. Yeah. Take it easy, mate. Yeah. But yeah, beautiful image, John. Love the fact that you're matching, you know, trying to match the color of the amber here with that. It just would have been nice just to have that amber or whatever it is just in the yellow light. Could be cool. Yeah. Chris is adding a second shot here. He said, being cheeky, adding a second one due to the vibrant images playing with different mixes. So this, I mean, I know you're adding a second shot here, but this kind of leads on to my previous point that I said to you about your previous work, Chris, is just darken these down a bit, right? Darken these gels down a little bit so that we, thanks, Dave. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, just darken these gels down so that we can see some of those colors coming through. Like this blue here is probably, you know, nearly 2 stops overexposed. We just need to rein that in, and that's when that color will start to come through. Yeah. Here it is. Look, David shot. The optical spot is back. 2 light setups. See my awesome diagram in the comments. Shot an event in a big house, but I'm stuck in a tiny hallway. Okay, a photographer in the room behind the stairs I had to watch out for. Another photographer in the room where the French doors are, camera right. Another photographer was in the room behind me. People going up and down the basement. Gotta love photography, man. So yeah, this is cool. I mean, this is a, you know, I saw the thumbnail of that and I thought it just said bitch. I was like, what the hell? So diagram, yeah. So got, okay, yeah. I mean, it's all coming together now, mate. It's all coming together. So we got a couple of B10s. So we've got the optical spot back there on the back right. Got the Kobo on there. We've got the French doors. So we got some daylight coming in here, David, or yeah, or we got the photo bounced off the wall on that. Okay, so fill in. So we've got 3 lights here. I can't work out whether we got daylight coming in here. So with this 2 lights, and you've crushed all the daylight or not. You may well have done, because it looks like pretty much just the optical spot coming in here, and then the shadows on this side being filled in. Yeah, this is, you know, again. There was a daylight coming from the windows by the front door. Yeah, so a little bit of fill light coming in there. Maybe we can see a touch of it catching the banister here and stuff. But for the most part, looking pretty bang on. I don't think there's too much we need to do to this one. But again, we can kind of, let's have a look. It's kind of difficult, right? Because I'm again just have this highlight here. Can we try and darken that down a little bit? Yeah, we can kind of grab that. Okay, yeah, we can just about get away with that. Okay. Now, if I'm going to color grade something like this, what I'm trying to think of about color grading is you can only apply a color to to something with substance. You can't apply color to black, right? So if it's pure black, you can color grade all day. It's not going to have any effect, right? So what I do sometimes with a color grade, but if I'm trying to cheat a little bit, is add this exposure layer here. And then in the central bit, in the offset here, what this will do is, I'm just using the arrow keys here, but what we can do is we can just bring up the black point a little bit. And what that means is that the baseline for the shadows have been brought up, which now means that we can kind of, you can see it there, kind of gives us a little bit more detail to add some color to, right? But I honestly don't think there's too much we need to do. That I like the way that David's already lent into this one, just in terms of warming it up, making it feel like that sunlight coming through. I'm just looking at, so what I sometimes I try and do is I just go through these colors and just yank the black around here at the bottom just to see. So we could just bring in some highlights here just by cranking that in the cyans. I'll mask it out in a second, but yeah, just bring in some of the highlights on there. But color wise, I don't think we don't need to do too much. Just to highlight some of the fashion there. And anything I do here is really just going to be maybe counteracting what David's already done. And look, it's a fine line at the moment. You can go like full Instagram, which I think David's done a good job of trying to avoid. What I mean by that is, just going like the full, like the full color grade, just gone crazy. I think he's tried to keep it fairly realistic without it being over the top. Yeah, I think if anything, I would just maybe do something with the. I mean, if there's nothing to be done, there's nothing to be done. There's no point in forcing it. Yeah, I think anything I do here is just going to be taking away from what he's already done. Although just adding just a touch magenta to the shadows is nice. Yeah, all good. So yeah, I think again, this I kind of joked, or not joked, but mentioned this Churrascawa thing earlier on, however you pronounce it. I don't even know what language it is, Italian, but it's from painting where we have this light dark. Now what David's done here, he's done a really good job of, he mentioned in chat a second ago, he said, look, we got some daylight spilling in here. We can kind of see we got a highlight on the banister there. So there is going to be daylight in there. So what he's done with his camera settings to begin with, like he's knocked that daylight back with the camera settings, right? So he's adjusted his camera, because that's the one light you can't control is daylight, right? So he's knocked that right back. And then what he's done is he's brought in the optical spot to really highlight the subject and really bounce them out of that really quite dark background on purpose, right? We don't need this to be lit, it's not important, so we can have that light just carving across the subject. It really helps to bring them out. That being said, like one of the only things I may do there is just see if I could knock back this banister here. Just to keep that highlight that's right in the front of frame there, just to keep that knocked back. But yeah, really cool shot though, as always. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, I mean, like you're super consistent now, David. Like it's all very well to take a killer shot every now and then, and that's great. But I mean, yeah, like the work that you're putting out now is consistent. Shoot after shoot after shoot, it's super consistent. So yeah, really well done. Yeah. Skin tones are all over the place. Really tough to get them fixed. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, I hear what you're saying, and that can happen if you've got different grades of light, i.e., hard light, soft light, and that sort of thing. But yeah, like certainly nothing that I noticed. So you've done a really good job with the grade on that too, because like knees can be like magenta and that sort of stuff. So I think you've done a good job there. Yeah. Let's just come to Anubis last, because there's a lot to talk about there. Let's come to Anubis. Let's look at Dave's shot here a second, and then we'll come back to shot. So Dave mentions here. I won't go into it. If you're interested, then by all means, please read it. But Dave's saying that going through a patch of just not feeling it really, just being like, I'm done. And like we've all been there. If anybody's going through that right now, in terms of, oh man, I just don't want to pick up a camera. My images are terrible, or I'm not improving, or I can't get these ideas in my head out. They're just like, they're not. It's just the images aren't coming out how I want. Like we all go through that, and that's not to minimize the frustrations that you're going through, but at the very least, just know that we all go through that. From time to time. Like I mean, I've got super busy few weeks coming up. Nuts, absolutely nuts. Loads on. But last few weeks I've had nothing, like apps, and like it happens every year. August is killer. Every year it happens, and every year I panic. Like, well, better rewrite the CV. Start heading down to McDonald's, see if they've got anything available. Better brush my teeth again. Like every year it gets to that point of like, well, we had a good run. And you just start panicking. It's like, oh my god, I'm washed up. It's, just all this shit just goes through your head. Like I promise you are not. It doesn't matter how many years you do it, that little niggle in the back of your head will always be there. So first of all, Dave, I appreciate you sharing that with us, and it's certainly brave of you to do so. Because I think a lot of people certainly suffer in silence. But glad that you just had a little bit of a spark here at the weekend. Thought you'd jump back into it, start playing with some ideas again, and yes, great. Looks like you had a lot of fun here, and this looks really cool. Yeah, really cool. I love the kind of tones that we got going on here. So again, like I mentioned, just real brief, just come in here, just add this kind of baseline here, right? Let's see, in the middle, just bring up like the black point here a little bit. Yeah, because we've got a lot of dark areas in this, right? So this just bringing up this black point just enables us to get a little bit of a grade going that we may not be able to if it was just pure black. So this is an interesting one in terms of colors, right? Because we just have this one very bold color, and then the rest we have this blacks, and then like the tattoos, it's like kind of a similar color as well, right? What did I just do? Did I just do red? I think so. Yeah. So I kind of want to just bring out, I mean, like we could just go fully pale, right? We could just go make the skin pale, and then go that way. Or we could just bring out some of the skin tone. Let's have a look. So if we go into the blues, right? If you wanted to go a bit more gothic, yeah, we just punch up the blue a little bit there. Just really just make that skin very pale, gothic. Maybe that matches it. You could do that. Or let's have a look at going maybe just really, infrared almost. Which I think kind of works, right? Because now we have these highlight areas here. I was wondering what to do with these highlights, and I think we kind of balance it out with the pale skin. I actually didn't intend to go this way. I just wanted to show you this as an example. But I think it kind of works. Let's have a look though. If we wanted to go, let's see. This just ends up looking like vintage analog film, you know. So I don't know whether it's the and again we could, you know, we could color it, give it a little bit of warmth, and also a kind of what I'm in my mind. I know I'm not saying it out loud, sorry, but what I'm kind of trying to do is trying to lock this into like a deep sort of almost racing green type color to kind of match these tattoos. I'm trying to turn those blacks into that, like just a little bit more almost vintage green type look. Let's have a look. So this is what color was that? It was red. We could do the blues, but I think we're almost there really. So this is just a different way to go with color. And you know, when we have a shot like this, which is a very tight color palette, right? So just really almost one tone, like the bowl's red, and then the rest is kind of black and white, you know. So we got that one tone. And just adding that blue there, I don't mind that, to be fair, you know, I don't mind that. One way to go with it, just to make that red pop, or we could go a different way and go, you know, really a bit more gothic, just in terms of tones like that. So I'm just going to put these in a group so we can turn them on and off. So yeah, this is probably going this way with it, you know, locking this background into like the colors of the tattoo and the outfit and that sort of thing, and then focusing on our core color, which is our red hair, and making that kind of pop, yeah, in contrast to that kind of greeny shadow color. So that's one way to take it. I actually really like that. The other way is just to go a little bit more gothic and really just draw all of the color out, but still maintaining the original vibe of it, right? So here what we're doing is, see, we've got whites and stuff back here and the yellow on the skin here. What this is doing is taking the skin and making it kind of the same tone as these highlights around the outside of the image. Yeah, so definitely different ways that you can take shots like this. But if you're setting up shots and thinking about, you know, what's a cool shot to color grade, you know, look at cinematic shots. They are not busy images, right? They're very limited to what's going on, like this, especially some of the really good, really well crafted films, like anything like David Fincher and that sort of thing. You know, really crafted films in terms of lighting, and not the best example of color. I mean, all of his stuff practically looks black and white, but he will have pockets of color that is very, very subtle. But yeah, thinking about keeping the colors very limited in palette in the shot, and then it just makes it a lot easier to double down in terms of a color grade afterwards. I mean, this is just super easy to color grade a shot like this because you just got a couple of colors to work with. Yeah, and you know, and it gives you options as to different ways you could go. Yeah. Yeah, David, they stripped out the colors. Is that right, Dave? So when you uploaded it, it's taken out the colors. It often can do that. Anuba, we actually saved your image until last, so I'm about to do it now. So I'm glad that you're here. Only edit was touch of skins moving. Okay, nice. Yeah. But yeah, real cool, man. Yeah, real cool image. Lots of fun to play with. Yeah, like it a lot, and glad you're, you know, back at it. You know, got the bug. So look, guys, we are going to finish strong here tonight. We've got a Anuba shot here. Always love seeing what he's working on. It's super colourful, and you know, Anuba, you don't mind me saying, but you know, working, I think, a lot from your home and that sort of stuff, or very small locations, and you know, bringing in a subject and really just playing with aspects around the home that, you know, you're in the kitchen or in the lounge or whatever, and you're just really getting these crazy shots with color, just to really revolutionize the space that you're in terms of imagery. So always a pleasure seeing these. So what have we got here? Nubif says Canon RP with Tamron 2875. You see, look, his kit is his kit is standard stuff. It's nothing crazy. He's not in here with Fuji GFX trying to flex. Look, I'm not crapping on your Tamron there, by the way. I'm just saying this. Just anybody can. I'm just going to stop. So f2.8, 250 of a second at ISO 500. Now, you mentioned in the past about this shutter speed being quite high. You say like you're concerned about shaking, right? Is that why you have it quite high? I think it's sensible, to do that. Especially seeing as most cameras are fine going a higher ISO. This is something that we've spoke about several times recently, but like for me, I'd be like, oof, or other people, I'm better at it now. But years ago, I'd be like, ISO 500. You've got to be on 100. You got to bring that down. So rather than shoot at 250th, come down 2 stops, 125th, shoot at 60th of a second, and 100 ISO, job done. Whereas you're going the other way because you're feeling, because you feel confident that A, going to be no movement, and B, the ISO is going to, the camera's going to cope with it. But beautiful colors. Let's have a look at the infinity stone of lighting diagrams here. David, mate, you need to step up your game. Look at what Anubiv's putting out there, eh? Come on. But all joking aside, though, I appreciate anybody who adds a lighting diagram to help us understand how the shot was done. But Anubiv, for those of you who don't know, he is sponsored, supported, helped out, however you want to call it, by Nanlite, Pavo Tubes, right? So Anubiv says, just because of broken left arm, I prefer to shoot a bit higher. Okay, yeah, so sensible, right? So he's concerned that there might be a little bit of shake in the image. So yeah, I think it's something that younger people, and I don't know your age, but I'm guessing it's a little bit younger, certainly younger than I am, coming out of art college or learning photography now. ISO is not a big deal like it used to be. I've started to shoot a lot of LED stuff recently, and I've been put in a situation where I've had to shoot ISO 800. It's totally fine. It's out like it's just no way you're gonna know. So yeah, like if you're worried about a little bit of camera shake, then it's just absolutely fine to shoot ISO 500 is not an issue. So here we go. We got the setup here. So he's got a tube at the back of the sink there. He's got a tube coming down here and a tube coming across there as well. I wonder how much daylight, if you turned all these lights off, I wonder how much daylight would have been in your shot. Probably not much, but still it might have been a little bit filled. Like you can see, you've got a little bit of haze in the image as well. 32, I don't know if that's younger. So yeah, you're a little bit younger than me. So I'm 43, right? Yeah, 40. Yeah, so something like that. I was born in 1980, so yeah. Rhodolite shoots. I'm normally minimum ISO 600. Minimum as in you won't go any higher than that, or you have to be usually at 600, and then you go higher than that. But yeah, really cool. Yeah, really cool. But thanks for showing the BTS of this as well. I think it's so we got. I'm getting confused because of the mirror. Let's look at the diagram again. So we got this light which is here, and we got on the floor. Yeah, gotcha. Got this fella down here. Gotcha. Yeah. And then we got this one here, which is this one. Oh, it's a Forza 60C. Okay. Then we've got that yellow popping in there. Interesting. And then we've got one at the back of the sink. Gotcha. It was around 4 p.m. and the sun was setting directly into the room. Okay. Yeah. So maybe like the sun is just filling in a little bit of a shadow back here, but probably nothing great. Yeah. But look, I mean, incredible shot, and I think the reason it's incredible is because of like the quality of light that we've got coming across the face. Now, if you guys never used tubes, they are an interesting modifier, yeah, or a light, whatever you want to call it, because they do they kind of do one look, but they do that one look really well. You know, and we're seeing a lot more of them in cinema and that sort of thing, because you can put them anywhere, right? And you know, I've started to use, you know, I don't have these fancy ones like Anubis has. I just got cheap ones from Pixpro. They're like 50 quid a pop. Now, Anubis, if you're in chat here, I actually got contacted by Nanlite 2 weeks ago, and again they spoke to me on Monday. They want a meeting. I don't know what they want yet, but maybe I can get some of these tubes and see for myself. See what they're capable of in terms of brightness and that sort of thing. But and seeing as you're in chat, do you know, like, what's the degree of light that you can see from the tube, right? So what I mean by that is, so you got your tube, you know, like, where is there a dark spot? It's like a tiny bit at the bottom, or is it like only 180 degrees? Like, is it most of the tube is covered in lighting equipment, or is it most of it is open? Like, do you know what the spread angle is on these tubes? And because it looks pretty high. You can see it here. Or is that, because I can't work out whether that's the bracket or the actual tube itself, or is that, okay, that's the tube there. So okay, so it does have a dark spot there. Interesting. Okay. So the reason I mention that is, let me show you this real quick. We're just about to wrap up here, guys, anyway, because we're getting on late. Oh my god, looking into the matrix. So you're here. So you see these tubes, these are the ones I'm using, and they have a very small area at the back where they're a little bit darker. I don't think you can see it in these shots. Yeah. So, but they're pretty much open, like, in terms of you can see the color everywhere. Could you do a shoot like this where we have like the tubes in shot like this, or would you see too much of the backs of them? It's a little more than 180. Okay. So it could be hard pressed. Yeah. If you get some, go for the 30x. What does the 30x mean? Is that just like they're 30 centimeters long, or brightness, or what does that mean? Anyway, you come back to your image. Beautiful colors, absolutely beautiful colors, and loving the light fall off on the face. And again, this is something that is kind of unique to these tubes in terms of how the light falls off, right? And because the inverse square law that we've all been used to just doesn't apply, right? Now this is super nerdy, right? But this is like a regular light. See how that light falls off in terms of a hotspot. Okay, bare bulb, LED panel, and then a tube, right? So see how the light fall off is super gradual, because light is coming from everywhere in terms of like a shoot like this, in like a shot especially on humans, right? It's coming from everywhere. Very easy to use these tubes, right? You don't have any worry of any hotspots at all, right? Super easy to use. And again, because of the drop off, look at the drop off, how bright it is to how dark it gets, how bright it is to how dark it gets. Look at it down here, right? Super gradual drop off. So the tubes have been an interesting exercise, because I'm kind of relearning the physics of light a little bit. So if you get a chance to play with them, do it. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're fun. Yes, it's possible, but would have to adjust the angle to achieve same results for images. Yeah, so you've got to be a little bit more particular with it. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. 30x is the new series with rainbow LED. Check on the official. Okay, thank you. Okay, so 30x just means that they're the full rainbow spectrum. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have a look. Like I said, I got no idea. Like they reached out to me directly, and they're like want to chat, jump on a call. So I don't know what they want to talk about. But yeah, beautiful image. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing it. It was an absolute pleasure seeing these, and it's just gorgeous images. Yeah, I would be real tempted just to clean up these pipes here, just to keep it clean, just to get rid of these here, these three things here. It wouldn't take 2 minutes. Just this line here, I just buzz those out just to keep that clean content going through the diagonal there. Yeah, just keep it clean through. But gorgeous image, absolutely love that. Yeah, beautiful work, beautiful work. Well done again, beautiful. Okay, so overran a little bit there. Weird, I know, because you guys won't shut up. Told you about this. Just checking, haven't any latecomers. If you have, it's absolutely fine. We'll just look at them before we go. Oh, Eduardo just posted an image in here. Nice. Please check this one. Thank you, man. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, this is looking really good. It's looking really good. Just be, it's very strong color here. Just be mindful of, again, like the height of this light. This white light, wherever it is, we kind of want this light coming up here more, coming down more. So we kind of want these highlights here. I think like the blue is looking good. I'm kind of, maybe it's this here that's throwing me off in terms of the angle. But like, think about your positioning, where you are as well, taking the shot. So it looks like you're kind of standing up, almost looking down on her. If we're doing a shot this, we're seeing the full body, we kind of want to empower her in the shot. So think about coming down a little bit lower in terms of your angle. If you've seen any of the images on my website, like I'm sat on the floor for 90% of these, looking up at the subject, right? I'm sat on the floor looking up at them. It's empowering the subject. I know it doesn't look like it, but yeah. So sat down, looking up at them, as opposed to this, which kind of looks like we're looking down on them a little bit. Yeah. Thank you, David. I'm glad somebody agrees. Honestly, it's just really, really letting it go. I was expecting that, but got a bit lazy. Jake, we need to get you one profile pic finally with gels. I finally did mine after 6 years. So as in what, your profile pic, as in it's you? Mate, that is, I like what you're doing. You're hiding yourself there. I'm not sure I'm ready to commit to that, right? Although the longer I leave it, the harder it's going to be to get one, right? Because I haven't checked this. This is ancient. You talking about profile picture? Look at that guy. What an absolute! Hey, look at this. Look at that young man. God, I was actually fully expecting it to still say sponsored by Bowens here somewhere. But you're right. I do need to update it. Right, what are we doing here? Let's just check. Tony, oh my god, Tony's up. Tony's in Australia. He's just getting up, having his morning coffee. Thank you for sharing this one, mate. This was hidden. We didn't see this before. He's put it 22 hours ago. What to do on a rainy day and move into your garage and shoot anyhow. Nice, Tony, in your garage. Legend. Like it. Again, if you're going to do composites, then yeah, think about the colouring and tonality. So he's got this, grey background here, and he's desaturated some of the skin tones to kind of match it. Thank you for sharing this one, Tony. And I have no idea how we missed it a moment ago, but yeah, really, really cool. Thank you for sharing this one, and always interesting to see what you're shooting. Tony's always working on something new. Crazy idea that he's playing with, so yeah, always great to see that. We've seen these. I don't know why Facebook hides some of these. Daz, this is looking cool, playing with shutter speeds, a bit of fill, flash, a bit out of control, as majority of the light is coming from the flown rig. This is my nod to 90s. So you say that. So I used to shoot, I'd have to dig it out. I used to shoot stuff like this all the time. Yeah, this was like, flash and long exposure in gigs. This was all the rage, as you say. Absolutely nailed it with 90s Enemy. If that's the vibe you're going for, I would say nailed it. Yeah, really cool. I'm not seeing any flash here though. I could be wrong, but okay. So yeah, sorry if I'm missing a couple of those, Tony. Yours especially, because you weren't late at all. You actually put yours probably first. Yeah. So yeah. Right then, guys. So we get in towards the end there. Right, we're going to just wrap this up, close this out. Let's have a look. Don't forget, anybody interested in doing, any online workshops and that sort of thing with me, one-to-ones, check out that page on my site. Okay, have a look. Still doing plenty of them. The cinematic one is still pretty popular with my American friends, which is good. Love doing that one. So online workshops in there, we do all sorts. Cinematic one, obviously pretty unique in terms of bringing a lot of cinematic techniques and lighting styles across from the cinematic, set wise of things. It's weird that I don't see more of it being used in stills. Got the classic gels, long exposure, some really cool long exposure techniques. Creatively simple lighting is more like pastel colors and that sort of thing. We got working in smaller spaces, and then of course my projector workshop. I haven't done a huge amount of projector work recently. I suppose maybe because I've been using that spotlight. But yeah, projectors are so slept on. It's nuts. It's just one of the most creative tools that we have available, and just so few people still use it. It's crazy. Yeah. Right then, guys. Hey Rod, how you doing, man? How you doing? You just caught the very end, but yeah, we're just gonna wrap this up here. Yeah, that's me. It's 2 tubes, 1 projector taking the iPhone. Nice. Now you need to flame lighting with your profile shot. Actually, before I go, I know I posted it earlier on. Where is the... So already, I know I spoke about this earlier on, but don't forget as well, we've got the Road to Light workshop in London on the 2nd. So check that out as well if you're in this area. But yeah, no worries, David, no worries. Thank you so much for everybody that tuned in tonight. Thank you especially to those of you that shared an image. We couldn't do it. Well, I mean, we could do it, but it would be pretty boring, right? You just hear me ranting about AI for ages. Now, look, I promise I'm going to try and get a handle on my AI talk, but I just wanted to have a little chat about that tonight. If you've got any other topics or anything like that you want to talk about in the future, Q&A, something you want me to discuss or look at, modifiers, lighting, camera, whatever it is, let me know and I can certainly consider it for next time. But that is it, guys. Okay, see you again in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for everybody that tuned in, and I will catch you next time. Stay safe. Catch you again.